Okay, now what we're going to do is take a look at the college database from the standpoint of what information it's holding and in the basic design, some of the ideas behind the design of that database. The college database is simply a more complex version of the starter database that we started with. In the starter database, it was only a student and a major table. Now we've added 6 other tables. What's important to understand is when you have these kinds of tables in a database, there are interrelationships among them, that they connect one to the other. And let me give you an example. I've run the college dump script here to display all the records from all the tables. And I'm going to start by taking a look at student, which we looked at before. It was in the starter database. We've got the fields like name and email, sex, and roll date, major, and so on. What's interesting about major from the others is it's just a number. That tells us what major the person has. So this person here, Kenneth Alvarez, has majored ID of number 5. What that does is correspond to a table, to a record in the major table. So number 5 over here is that person is majoring in nursing. Notice that in the student table, we didn't store the word nursing. We just stored the 5, the ID of this record. So in the major table, we've only got a couple of columns, an ID, a name, like anthropology or biology, and then a status, which is not something that we'll worry about right now. In the student table over here, let's take a look at that. Excuse me, we have these columns including major ID. This is what's called a foreign key. It's a key to a record in another table. So Jose Armstrong has major ID number 6. That means that he's majoring in criminal justice. Now in the major field, in the major table rather, this column ID is what's called the primary key. It's just a number, sort of like a social security number with a VIN for a car, or a student ID, your S number, or some other number like that, that just uniquely identifies one row. So 4 represents biology, and if we go over here and look at the student table, this person, Gerald Bechtel, is majoring in biology. Number 2 here indicates that this person, and we have to go look it up, is in information systems. One of the important concepts to get in relational database design is that the information is scattered about. We don't hold the names of the majors in the student table. Instead, we have a foreign key that makes a reference over to the major table, and that's where the name is contained. One other point to make is some of these students don't have a major. It's not necessary to have a major in the design of this database, and that's because students can start college but not declare a major. When that's the case, we leave the field null, and MySQL displays it with the word null here. Null is not a 0 major. It's not any kind of a number. Null means that it's missing. It's a missing piece of data. There's no data there. There's no 0, there's no 1, there's no 99. So we don't use phony numbers to represent missing data. We use null values. So that's a basic understanding of how the student and the major table connect with one another. In the next video, I'll go into more detail on the connections between the other tables.